So welcome, everybody. Oh my gosh, some people I haven't seen for a while. Oh, how wonderful. So this is Sage, and happy election day to those of us who are here in the USA. I know that we all have various political views, and many of us feel very strongly right about our political views right now. So we're not going to go into trying to convince anyone of this or that or who's right or who's wrong. And you might have noticed that it's really kind of a waste of time, right? And it ends up pissing people off. So we have to speak our truth. We have to do what we believe is right. And then there's really a certain amount of surrender and trust and faith. And we can't just sort of ruminate and stay up at night. People are losing sleep over this, and the stress levels are so high. This on top of COVID and sheltering in place and all sorts of
I think you're selling.
so I'm gonna go ahead and mute you guys because somebody's got some background noise. Okay, but we will have a chance to have some Q&A and kind of interact, and you can unmute yourself or I can unmute you when we get to that. So yeah, let me take a quick look at the chat. And I'm here in California. I'm in Placerville, which is a gold rush town. It's actually where the gold rush started. We're literally just like 6 miles away from where gold was first discovered. So they do a lot of historical, gold rush reenactments here and such. And I'm soon to be moving. So who saw my conscious uncoupling email? Who knows what's up? Right, some of you guys know that I'm going through a divorce because I've shared that with you, or because you read the email, and I needed to process that kind of quietly for a lot of the journey. So I do have one exciting piece of news to just share with you because you're in my community. I just found out yesterday that my divorce is final. So I am a single woman now. Woo woo, right? And that was quite shocking, actually, because they said it would take until February. And I was like, what do you mean it's final? I thought we had until February. So I'm kind of like mentally, emotionally catching up with the fact that it only took 2.5 months instead of taking 6 months. But for whatever reason, the judge liked the way the lawyer said things and the way we said things. And the nice thing, too, that I'm so grateful for is that we're completely amiable. We're completely amicable. We're totally still really good friends. We totally still love each other. And so we're not arguing over who gets grandma's vase, you know what I mean? Or all this like stupid stuff that people do, right? It's amazing, right? So, and there was no betrayal. No one's angry. No one really feels like the other person is just a complete a-hole. So that really helps, right? So, I feel like for many years, my focus, my specialty was self-love and soulmate love. Some of you know me from way back when, right? And then I've moved about 8, 9, 10 years ago more into life purpose, abundance, manifestation, empowerment. I work a lot with women, with light workers, and it's all done in a manner of spirituality and enlightenment, right? So some of you might just want to kind of just shoot the breeze with me, like, how is it that you're divorcing your soulmate, Sage, right? And I just wanted to be like totally raw and vulnerable with you because I love you guys. And the whole concept of soulmates, the concept of twin flames. Hi, David. Hi, Dawn. Great to see you. Hi, Jean. Medea is here. Oh my God, Tanya's in the house. And V, that's cool. So glad to see all of you guys. And go ahead and type in the chat. Thank you, Debbie. Yeah, it's like, people celebrate the beginnings of life, right? We make such a big deal about weddings. We make such a big deal about births. And we kind of are uncomfortable. Most people are uncomfortable with the endings. But part of why I wanted to come here with all of you today is to remind all of us that every ending is a beginning, right? It's a door, it's a portal, and we can consciously go through these doors and portals, or we can wait until the universe gives us what I call the cosmic kick in the keister. And then it's the hard way, right? So, and the other thing I wanted to talk to you about was this concept of the arc. So I know a lot of you are familiar with the spiral, right? We've all heard this concept of the spiral of life, that, we have issue X or Y or Z. But if we're on our path, we come back to the issue less often because it's a spiral. So we have more time gets to pass in between where we're like, yay, I don't have to deal with health issues or wealth issues or stuff with my mother or, whatever the thing is, right? So it comes less often, but we also are stronger and we're wiser and we have more tools and we remember, oh yeah, I've dealt with that stuff before. I know how to deal with this. I can handle this. I'm okay. This too shall pass. So we get through it. Medically, they talk about duration, frequency, and intensity. And on the spiral of life, the duration, frequency, and intensity gets less and less as we evolve. Is this making sense? Nod or go like this or like, yeah, I totally, right? So we think about this spiral of life. But one thing that most people don't think about is what I call the arc of events and the arc of relationships. So if you think about, we're talking about love and conscious relationship, but this is just as true about, say, like a career or a place to live, right? Or any like significant aspect of your life. There's this beginning, which has this activation energy. And for many of us, that's the fun part, right? We're like, oh, yay, I got this new job or this new client or this new certification or this new place to live. I'm in this new relationship, like, ooh la la, right? So we have this fun of the newness. Yes. And that kind of keeps us going for a while. And with love, there's all these hormones going on in the brain chemistry. You've got dopamine flooding through your system for the first 6 months to 2 years, especially the first 6 months. Then it starts to slow down a bit gradually. But dopamine can make us dopes if we just let ourselves be only flowing with like the lust and the dopamine, then like everybody looks like our freaking soulmate for like 6 months, right? Who's noticed this? They're like, wait a minute, we can project, we can see the best in almost everybody. We're in love with their potential. We're in love with being in love. Does this make sense? Right? So that in loveness kind of gives that carrying on. And then you kind of like that wears off. And if the relationship lasts, or if it's going to be a long-term relationship, you move into the oxytocin, which is the bonding hormone. And that is what a mother and child have when they bond well with a new baby. That's also what we feel with our pets, interestingly. And close to, anyone that we're close to, that we have like a long, just gentle, lasting, harmonious relationship with. It's this feeling of tenderness and compassion. It's not about lust. It's about, I just want the best for them. I just love them, so much, that heart chakra, that tenderness, that kindness, that loving kindness. So longer term relationships will move into this middle part of the arc with the oxytocin. But then what happens is every relationship is either continuing to grow closer and the intimacy is getting deeper. It may change form, or your sexual frequency may change, or, people's health conditions may change, their weight may change. Hello, right? Whatever else may change, but it's either growing deeper and closer, like you're growing individually and you're growing in a way that's to get together, or you start to do this with the arc and you start to grow apart. Does it make sense? And this arc, where it's like, oh, it's like in chess, we would call it the end game, right? The game isn't quite over yet. There's still like 7 pieces on the board, but you're like, you can kind of see the end is in sight. You kind of feel the end is in sight. I remember, and again, this applies to all aspects of our lives. I remember one place I was renting back before I was able to own my own homes. Crazy concept, right? Chief Seattle can't own the land, but it's nice to be a caretaker and be taken care of a little piece of earth if we choose to do that. But one year, way back 20 something years ago, the landlady had moved out. She had stopped paying the mortgage. She actually went to some island in the middle of the ocean. She was like escaping the bank. And she said to us, oh, you can just keep staying as long as you want. You don't even have to pay rent, but you can just like send me some money every now and then until the bank kicks you out, right? So my roommate and I were like, wow, like we can stay here like really cheap and, whatever. So we're kind of like, being kind of sort of stupid 20 somethings, we were like, let's ride this as long as we can. Yeah. You know? So what started happening? The plumbing started falling apart. The electricity started falling apart. Someone's car got broken into, like all this shit started happening, right? And we stayed too long. We stayed past the arc. Does that make sense? Like the universe was giving us the nudge, like, hey, it's time to like look for a new place to live. And we waited until it got bad. So what Mark and I did with this, which I'm very grateful for, is we didn't wait. We honored the arc, right? So we noticed, like really like 3 years ago, some intimacy issues were happening, some other issues were going on. And I've always loved him. I will always love him because he's my twin flame. We've been connected forever. We're going to be connected forever. And the in loveness was starting to wear off. Does that make sense? It's like the romance, you know, the ooh la la, the yeah, I want to grab you, just the eye gazing, and you know, all of this passion of this romance was like, it was becoming platonic, and like this just comfortable platonic marriage. And so let's see, 2 years ago this month was our 20-year wedding anniversary, and we went to Cabo. Anybody ever been to Cabo, San Lucas in Mexico? Really cool place. And I thought, okay, we've got 6 nights, just us, no kids, no dogs, nothing about housework, nothing about business, nobody else involved. This is our time to rekindle. It didn't. It didn't rekindle. So for the last 2 years, we've been in this arc, and we've been like, okay, so we either make peace with what is, or we change what is. So our choice to let each other go and to set each other free, and to this sense of, okay, you know what, our contract is completing, our soul contract. That's what we really felt like. We came together for spiritual lessons and for connection and for a lot of the pleasure that we have, and we're grateful for everything that we've had, and to create these 2 beautiful boys. Anybody else a mom out there, or a dad? So do you ever feel like that's why I was with that person? Right? And you don't ever regret this child or these children. You're like, wow, that was a great blessing, you know, to come from this. Hopefully, if you have a good relationship with your kids. So yeah, it's like the timing, we're noticing, okay, so there's this shift between us where we're feeling like friends, like not roommates, because we're not just roommates, we're very close, we talk about things, but it doesn't feel like this passion and this zing. So, and people always ask, like, oh, did you go to therapy? Did you try workshops? Did you do tantra? Yes, 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 yes. We teach that stuff, all right? We have all these tools in the toolbox. We were doing all the tools in the toolbox. It was just time. It was time to let each other go. So I will accept a hug from all of you. Can I accept a hug? A hug of congratulations, a hug of compassion. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey, thank you. And it's, you know, changes are not easy. They can be difficult, but ultimately though, it is worth it. It's worth it, especially if we allow our life changes and our societal changes, right? If we do it with grace and with gratitude and with consciousness and with kindness and with open hearts, and we're true to ourselves, and we don't just keep telling ourselves a story that's a BS belief to shift. We don't stay past the arc. We notice there's this kind of window of time, like with a relationship, there's a window of time where it could go down and then it could go back up, right? There is kind of this window of time where things could be shifted in some cases, in some situations. But when you notice, okay, this isn't what's happening, you have to be honest, you know, with yourself. You have to be honest with your partner. And this is true also with like a business, you know, or anything. Sometimes friendships, right? Sometimes friendships, like they say, they come into our lives for a reason or for a season. And some folks you just notice, like you kind of outgrow, or you don't have as much in common anymore, or you just kind of need to take a step back, or it just kind of fizzles out, right? Some relationships are just like, oh, haven't talked to that person for 5 years. Where did that go? You know, so it's ideal when we do all of this with consciousness. So I'm here to share with you. Grab your cup of tea. Let's have a little tea together. And I'm going to start with a prayer. And then I want to hear your questions and your sharings. And we're hanging out. And I'm here to be with you and hold you and be held by you and just co-create our intentions together, both personally and on a planetary level. So yay! So we have Surinder from Mumbai. Debbie, thank you. Desiree's here. Oh, Des, I'm so glad you're here. Carla, I'm so glad you could join us. And I know I said hi to, I think, almost everybody else. Yay. Janet is here. David, I haven't talked to you for so long. I was actually just thinking of you the other day. I was like, what happened to David? So, there's a time when you need to reconnect with people, right? And I think you can tell if you're reading my energy because all of you are very intuitive, very empathic, very energy based, right? You're feeling my energy. You're probably feeling like, wow, Sage is really happy sad right now. Right? I'm like everything. It's like all the emotions, like, wow, it's like, oh my God. So, and that's okay. It's okay to have my strong emotions. And it's okay to just go with the flow and be present with that. So yeah, oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I can feel your love. Thank you so much. So let's take a few moments to go into our hearts. Loving Mother, Father, God, Goddess, Great Spirit, holiest of holies, Creator, we come together with our common intention for the highest and greatest good of all. I ask that you bless up each and every person in my circle, in my community, those who are present with us here, those who are not present live, but are with us in spirit. And also, I ask that you bless all of our loved ones, bless us with our health, with our wealth, with our homes, with our relationships, and especially with our most important relationships, which are our relationships with self and with you. And we know that in the deepest truth of infinity and divinity, that is our always truth, self and source are one, and we are all one. And in this vibration, in this knowingness, in this state of grace, we set our intentions out for blessing all the world. We hold this planet with our wings of love, for we are all earth angels. And we ask that compassion and truth and justice and sustainability and peace come forth, blossom, and be the reality of all beings here on our beautiful home, Mother Earth, Pachamama. We also ask in these times of change and uncertainty and transition and transformation that we can be the best versions of ourselves, that we can be the hands and the voice of the divine, the hands and voice of love, the hands and voice of truth, the hands and voice of healing. And we ask too, and we claim and we know in our deepest beings that we choose to love ourselves, that we choose to love life, that we choose to love those who are in our lives, that we choose to love the places and the spaces where we get to be, that we choose to love this world. Thank you for the love that you are, that we are. Thank you for love that is our path, that is our past and our future. May all beings be loved. May all beings be healed. May all beings be at peace. And so it is. Amen. And blessed be. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, God. Thank you, Goddess. Thank you, angels. Thank you, ascended masters and teachers. Thank you, Reiki masters. Thank you, Gaia. Thank you to all of you and all of us, awakening ones, choosing over and over to live each moment as a moment of love. I honor you. I celebrate you. I bless you. And I love you. This is my prayer and our prayer. And thank you for being part of this, because even though I was the one saying the words, the energy is from all of us and it's for all of us. And it's from the world and it's for the world. So what are you guys feeling right now? What are you present to right now? And how can I support you right now? What would you like to talk about? Shift? I'm at your service with my heart wide open. And I might cry because I'm a Pisces. Judith's laughing, she gets it. We have some other Pisces in the house, right? Or just people who have strong open hearts and emotions. And it's good, it's okay, it's good to feel our feelings, right? All right, so Rick says, is it Rick or Rick? Says, thank you for your personal sharing, your prayer, your deep invocation, your love. Oh, now you're making me cry. You're a fine human being. Thank you. Thank you for seeing me. And thank you for being you and for being here. And Danut, what a cool name. Thank you for the sacred prayer. We need this, right? We need to come together with positive spiritual community. And in the ideal world, the pre and post COVID world, and the heaven on earth that we're creating, we'll have in-person events and we'll have opportunities to be in spiritual community in person more. And the fact is, even after COVID, even when COVID is just like a memory, and maybe get there as soon as possible and with as much harmony and health and happiness as possible, we're still living in this world where people are going to be doing more and more and more and more online, right? We know this, right? This is the wave of the future. So why not enjoy it? Why not celebrate this? This is quite miraculous. Archangel Michael talks about this, the internet, as our training wheels, because in truth, when we're completely in our oneness with God, we don't need wires. We don't need the electricity, right? We can just communicate like this. I have a nice new soul friend. His name's Fred. Right now, he's a friend. Really cool guy. But we're doing all this telepathic communication, like more than I've ever had with anyone, like just telepathically beaming stuff and going, hey, did this just happen? Did that just happen? I'm like, oh my God. So, we can really have, and we have this in the realm of emotion and spirit, but we can also do that at the level of thought. And how many of you have had telepathic moments or psychic moments where you're aware of something totally in a distant place, time, and you're just like, wow, or you're thinking of someone, then phone rings, or you have a dream about them, and then, all kinds of stuff, right? So you have an incredible and infinite capacity. And that's part of why I'm so passionate about what I get to do, right? To help people remember how connected with God they are, to remember the love, that you are, and to just clear out all that flotsam and jetsam and all the junk and gunk that's in the way. And it's mostly made of fear, and it's mostly not even your energy, and it's mostly not even real. Right? Because love is really what's real. So that's such a joy. And Desiree says, love you, thank you. Aisha says, I missed some of the prayer, but I feel at peace. Oh, I would love to connect with you. I'm sorry for your loss. Thank you for sharing that. And please, yeah, I'm happy. Any of you feel free to message me, email me. I'm happy to connect with all of you guys in whatever way, And Linda says, feeling peace and love. Thank you for the beautiful inclusive prayer. My feelings is underscored with a desire for financial increase. Yeah. And it really is better to be more prosperous than in the struggle. For so many years, even when I was doing a lot of the self-love work and soulmate work and spiritual development and chakras. And, I've been doing this stuff for 26 years, you guys, as Judith knows so well. Judith was on this huge rebirth with me back in 1994 and is also a very powerful healer in her own right. The shift into the prosperity consciousness that I really moved into in 2008 after the crash, the Hawaii, losing my home in 2006, being homeless with young children, not fun. I had a conversation with God and I was like, I am so done with these health and wealth challenges. I am so done with the first chakra just being so damaged and things being yanked out from under me. I'm done. Like, God, I am done. Okay. I will do what you put me here to do. I am more than devoted to being whatever you want me to be, but it has to be done in a way that has some strength, some health, some vibrancy, a foundation. So we got to work this out. And we did. We worked it out, right? So I don't want to turn this call into a whole thing about, my abundance programs and what shifted all that. You guys can message me. In fact, I want to give all of you an opportunity to, and there's, like I said, nothing is for sale here. No, this is not the sales pitch. Don't worry. I just want to invite you to write me. You can either email me or you can message me, or if you want, I'll put a link in the chat here, which, and again, there's no cost for this. I'll send a link to everyone. Yeah, so let me put this link here. It's if you want to hop on a call with me, I have a certain number of no cost, just complimentary clarity sessions. We can hop on a free call, or I will message you. I will write you back some ideas. So just let me know in that little form there. If you're like, there's something more here. Sage has something for me. I don't know what it is. Maybe I just have a free resource for you. Maybe I know someone else who can help you. Maybe I have a sentence that you need to hear, right? Or maybe we need to do something else, a course, healing, coaching, teaching, whatever. But you start with that little tiny url.com/sage clarity, and it's a little form to fill out. And I promise I will get back to you. I will respond to every single person. And just tell me a little bit about your situation. Like, what is it that you want to shift? Like Linda was just saying, for me right now, the abundance is the thing that's up. For some of you, that's a big part of it. For some of you, it's like you've got the abundance, you've got money, but it's more about your purpose. You're like, I'm not really quite living my purpose, or I don't even know what I came here to be when I grow up. I think I know, but I'm not really sure, or maybe you just feel really stressed and you feel like you've lost your playfulness or your joy. This has been, excuse me, I'm going to go New York. I'm going to cuss. Okay. Zoom cops. I'm going to cuss. I'm going to drop an F-bomb. This has been a fucking hard year, right? This has been a really hard year. Like, it's like, can we get 2020 over with? But on the other hand, there are still blessings in with all of this. And that's really one of the big takeaways that I want you all to have. Even in times of change and chaos and stress and personal transition and societal changes, and whether your person wins the election today or not, or some of them do and some of them don't, or you're in the United States or you're not, or you even vote or you're not, there are bigger things at stake here. And the biggest thing at stake is your spiritual awakening. You came here for a purpose, right? Empires can rise and fall all around us, right? We're not the only people to be living in a time of an empire that's falling. The United States great empire is kind of in a state, its arc is going like this, guys. Okay. I said no politics, but I'll just say that one little comment. Right now, the United States is as an empire, as like a leadership, basically cop for the world, right? We're kind of in a little bit of an arc. Now, maybe it'll bounce back off, maybe it will, maybe it won't, right? But you have your mission, no matter what's going on out here, no matter what's going on with your family, right? You guys know I do mother wound healing and ancestral healing, and it's so important. So important, the ancestral healing. A lot of people are talking about the importance of the ancestral and the karmic healing, because we realize we have to go deeper. We have to get to the root. We have to get to the original causes of things. It's not enough just to, you know, visualize love and light and like, I'm going to think positive. I'm going to say 10,000 affirmations a day. Believe me, I'm a fan of thinking positive. I'm a fan of affirmations, right? But for your deep stuff that like keeps coming up, you know, where you're like, where you're not really spiraling in an improving kind of way, but you're just like stuck or plateaued or, you know, frustrated. You got something else has to happen, right? You've got to get to that root. So, you know, however you do that, right? It's so important. And so just keep your focus, guys. Your focus is self and spirit. So you can type that in the chat. Self and spirit first. Self and spirit first. Self and spirit first. Type that in the chat. Why? Isn't that selfish to put yourself first? No, it is not selfish. Thank you, Eliza. It is not selfish. So nice to see you. Oh my gosh. It's not selfish to put yourself first. Archangel Michael told me, and I love this line, so I'm going to credit it back to him. He says it's not selfish. Okay. Self-love is not selfish. It's self-bliss. Self-love is not selfish, it's self-bliss. That's Archangel Michael by SH. Thank you. And I love that. It's a play on words. We like to play on words. If you aren't loving yourself and taking amazing good care, God care of you, you're not going to be of much use to anybody else, right? You're going to feel resentful. You're going to feel tired. You might even have health challenges or mental and emotional challenges. You don't have to be depressed. I just finished a divorce that was like 3 years in coming. Do I seem depressed? I'm not depressed. I am not. My country's going all crazy. COVID, whatever. I've got an 89-year-old, mostly blind mother. I mean, I've got all kinds of things going on. Applying my son for college, all kinds of things. I've got a 14-year-old dog, guys. That's 98 to you and me. Okay, Maka just turned 14 a few days ago. I've got stuff. I'm human. I'm like you. I've got stuff. We all have stuff. But I'm not depressed. I'm mostly peaceful. I'm mostly happy and hopeful, no matter what. And, you know, one thing that gives me hope with the world situation, and I know we have very real concerns, and believe me, we could talk for hours about all the concerns we have, and they are real concerns, you know, and I care about these things just as you guys do too. I'm especially concerned about the environmental situation, because if we don't switch that pretty quickly, nothing else is going to really matter a whole heck of a lot, you know. But the thing that gives me hope is that we are not doing this alone. We are not doing this alone. We are not making the changes alone. We have each other. We also have divine help. Okay, so remember that when you go, oh God, you know, you get all Chicken Little, the sky is falling. Right? We can all, if we need to do a Chicken Little moment, we can all go like this right now. Okay, now we're done with our Chicken Little. Wait, the sky didn't fall. It's still out there. The sky is still blue. The grass is still green. The flowers are still blooming. The birds are still chirping. Am I right or am I right? Okay. So, and there's been so many times through human history. You remember 1999, the world was going to end, right? Who made it through that one? You did. You did. Who made it through 2012? The world was going to end, right? The Mayan prophecy. Are we still here? If you're still here, yay, give yourself a hug if you're still here. You're still here, okay? And the other thing that gives me hope is that Gaia has intelligence, okay? How many of you agree with me that Mother Earth has intelligence? Hi, Jan. So glad to see your face. I'd love to see more of your faces. I love all your faces, right? Mother Earth has intelligence. We all know about these mushrooms and the algae that can like clean up oil spills and like radioactive waste. It's like whatever stupid thing humanity does, Mother Earth has a solution. She's got a treatment, she's got a solution. So we just need to stop doing the stupid things and work more, you know, with the elements. I mean, we have energy, we have free energy from the earth, air, fire, and water. Hello, the elements are giving us free energy. So there are solutions, okay? So even though sometimes it feels like the sky's falling, everything's getting worse, I truly, truly believe that even if it gets worse, it's going to get better. You have to hold on to that. We have to hold on to that. That, you know, sometimes things get worse before they get better, but they do get better. Because why? Because love is the strongest power there is. Am I right? Love is the strongest power. Amen. Preach it, sister and brother. That is the strongest power. And the truth is going to come out. Love, God's law, LAW, love always wins. God's law, LAW, love always wins. Okay. So as we're watching stuff out here, you know, election results, COVID numbers, you know, divorce papers, whatever, you know, things are going on. Just remember, love is the most important thing. It's who you are. It's what you came here to learn, to give and to receive. And if a relationship has an arc, then that's okay. That doesn't mean it was a mistake. It doesn't mean you wasted your time. It doesn't mean that you're a failure. It doesn't mean that you're unlovable. You are lovable. You're lovable just the way you are right now. You don't have to wait till you're 100% perfect to be lovable. You're lovable right now because you are love. So this is part of what I want to share with you. And type your questions. We're going to get to your questions. I feel like I'm preaching and I want to hear your questions and thoughts too. But I did make a list the other day when I got the divine nudge to have this call. I was like, oh, 10 points for life changes, growing and flowing with grace and gratitude. So can I just share them with you from my journal? Here's my messy little journal. There it is. There they are. And I want to share these with you because I realized, okay, these are not just for me. Some of what comes through in my journal or my meditations, my prayers, channelings, some of them are just for me, right? Or they're just for some of my students, or they're for that particular client, or they're for my friend, you know, or whoever, or Mark, or my mother, whoever, one of my mothers. But sometimes messages come through and I go, oh, okay, there's some universal truth to this. So I would love to share that with you. Thank you for allowing me to do that. So number one is that love is forever and is always accessible. In fact, if one of you wants to type this up, you can type it and put it in there for everybody. That would be really cool. Whoever wants to be sort of a record keeper. Love is forever and is always accessible. Are there any exceptions to that? There's no buts to that, you guys. There's no exceptions. There's no except for me or except for in 2020. There are no exceptions. Love is forever and is always accessible. And that you can apply that to so many different ways, right? The number two I already talked to you about, which is the spiral and the arc. And I think this is such an important concept, the arc of events, the arc of relationships. Is that making sense for you? Are you going, that makes so much sense? Because if we stay past that arc, that's when shit starts to happen. It gets worse, right? And if we go, oh, wait a minute, I'm in the end game here. This has to either complete with grace and gratitude, or it needs to be changed so that it's no longer in this arc, in this stage. Number three is consciousness, presence, and intentionality. So we can either react or we can respond, right? When we react unconsciously, it's like the doctor hitting your knee, you know, and you're like, you know, this just happened. Now what do I do, right? But when you stop about all of these questions that you have in your life and you go, okay, breathe. What is my highest truth about this, right? Or what would love do? Or how could this be a moment of love? Or how can I be the best me that I came here to be? Some of these are soul questions, which I like to teach. When you stop and you go into that intentionality, or you just go into your heart, or you do your namaste, or you do your Reiki, you do the tool, you use the tools that work for you, and you center and you go into your intentionality, that changes everything, because now you're no longer reacting, you're choosing conscious, loving action, and you're responding in an appropriate way. And sometimes the first way to respond is to just stop and not do anything. Right? Sometimes just being is the only thing you need to do. being is doing. It's a really important form of doing, and it's a precursor. So the number 4 point is healthy communication is essential, even in the midst of this divorce. And here comes Mark, my ex-husband. Wow. Here comes Mark. Mark can come wave hi. Want to wave hi to everybody? Oh, everybody. It's the whole world is here. There's Eliza.
Hi, whole world.
There's Sage. There's
Hi
Joy.
there.
There's Jan.
Sending lots of love.
There's Janet. There's some people who can't see their faces, but they're here. There's Surrender.
Hi, Surrender.
Yeah, we got nice people here.
Sweet. Hi, Eliza.
So I was just talking about you. Your ears are probably burning because I was talking about healthy communication, because even in the midst of the breakup and wake up, shake up, Mark and I, our communication is for the most part good, you know. And I've said for years, every relationship. Yay! Somebody's saying hi.
Hey,
Who said hi?
Hey, Judy.
Oh, there's Judy. Yay.
Hello. I think we do still really love one another, and we are soulmates. And you know, it's just a question of how do we ideally make our lives work, and to some degree, I'm not quite certain where that stands right now, because
you're getting your clarity.
It's like I have a 3 legged table, and for some reason one of the legs broke off, so all the contents of it is on the.
Or you mean physically?
That's a metaphor.
Oh. Okay. Well, yeah, that's okay.
I'm still cleaning up, but I am a happy
stand.
person, and I can still stand, and I
legs.
can stand it.
Well, I was gonna say it's kind of a good metaphor, because you can actually stand on 2 legs.
Yeah. If you have the right balance.
That's right. You have the right balance.
It's wonderful to see everybody, and I wish everyone well, and I personally would like to stay connected with all of you whom I know and embrace. So many blessings all the way around.
Thanks for popping in.
Yeah.
Yay. What I was gonna say too is any relationship is limited to operate at the level of the least evolved party. That's like one of Sage's laws of relationship. So if you're like super evolved, you're a really good communicator, you know, you're really conscious, you're really spiritual, your heart is really open, and the person that you're in a relationship with is like several notches down. If they're just several notches down, it might be okay. But if they're like way down here, you're gonna end up being the teacher in that relationship. You're gonna end up being the healer of the wounded puppy, right? How many people have done that? Are you done with those wounded puppies, right? And being like, oh my God, I'm 7,000 levels ahead of them when it comes to psychological development or communication. They don't even understand, you know, about iMessages and like reflective listening and, you know, being attentive and, you know, what is this, right? So you kind of need to be with someone who's like at least kind of reasonably on your level with psychological and spiritual development, or you'll outgrow them way faster than 22 years. We had a good long run of 22 years. That's a long time, you know. Oh, I was reading the book Conscious Uncoupling, which, by the way, it's a good book. And it was written by the same woman who wrote Calling in the One. And then 6 years later, she and her husband split up, and she wrote Conscious Uncoupling. So there you go. I'm not the only person in that situation. But one of the points she makes in Conscious Uncoupling is a relationship is not a failure just because it wasn't forever. And that's a societal mindset that was put on us, that you get married, you're married until the day somebody dies. And that's the only definition of a successful relationship, right? And didn't we used to think that about jobs too? You had a career, cradle to grave. You had a cradle to grave career. You were at that company, you were a company man or woman until you know, keeled over when you were whatever, blah, blah, blah. We won't develop the story any further. But it was like, you know, you had to be like, in other words, people would think you were a failure if you left a job, you know? That is not a failure. Something could be a success, and then it could be, okay, now it's complete, right? So, and that healthy communication during this stage that you're in any relationship, and this will still be true. Mark and I are still going to have a relationship. Like I put in my email, our mantra is F3, friends and family forever. So we're going to stay friends. we are family because we have created life from our loins twice together. We are family. We're going to be family. We might as well do that with love and with compassion and with some fun. We actually still like each other's company. We play games together and we laugh at the same jokes, and we are still very good friends. So I'm grateful for that. And that's because our communication is good. So you might have some things to work on your end on communication. If you're in an uncertain relationship, reach out to me and I can help you or help the two of you, give you some tips. Or maybe you are realizing you're in this stage of the arc and it might be time to work toward a transition, or maybe you're in a great relationship and it's just be taken up several notches, or you're manifesting, or you're not ready to manifest. You're just like, hey, I'm just focusing on myself, and that's perfectly good. I don't have to be in a couple all the time to be a complete human being, right? So that was a lot about communication and responding and not reacting. Number 5 point is getting support. The more of stress that is going on around you and in your life, the more change you have, the more support you need, okay? I know that we Americans, we have this concept of rugged individualism. I don't need any help, right? Sometimes we do need help, and it's an act of self-love, and it's an act of courage to get the support that we need. I had not worked with a therapist for like 11 years. And recently, with going through the divorce, I was like, you know what? It's time for me to have some talk therapy. Right? And it's been helpful. And now I feel like I'm kind of in the end arc with that. Maybe I'll have one or two more kind of completion sessions, but I feel like, okay, I've got what I needed from that, right? I worked with Monica. Some of you guys know Monica Bermudez, Sacred Heart Awakenings. She just launched her business recently. It's such a joy to help her get from, I don't know what my purpose is, to like launch business, making money, doing things with her clients. She does light language sessions, and her specialty is helping people heal heartbreak, whether it's from a divorce or something. It could have even been years ago, but any kind of like heartbreak or heartache. So we did a session recently. I said, I want to try that out, and it really actually cut my grief, like the pain, the painful aspect in the heart. It cut it like in half, like instantly. I was like, whoa, that really helped. Like there was this feeling of opening and spaciousness. And I'm someone who has a million certifications, right? I'm not going to bore you with all my whole vitae of all these trainings and certifications and tools. I've got so many tools in my toolbox. I'm super intuitive, and I'm still human, right? I'm still human, and I still have an emotional self, a mental self, physical self, social self. So sometimes I need support on the human level as well as on the divine level, which I'm grateful to be aware that I have. We all have, right? So you might need more support. So feel into that. Like, what kind of support do you need for any kinds of changes that you're going through, or that you need to be going through, other that are imminent, perhaps? I'm preparing myself about my dog. I'm like, wow, she just turned 14. So I'm kind of pre-grieving. Right? You know what I'm saying? So get the support that you need. Number 6 is time with self and spirit. We talked about that, right? Self and spirit first. That is your foundation. That is your cornerstone. That is your center. You've got to have a practice in the morning and a practice in the evening. What your practice looks like, it's not going to look exactly like my practice. It might not even look exactly like your practice the next day or the next year. But having tools that are your tools, your meditation, your prayer, your energy work, affirmations, gratitude, setting intention, movement, right? Journaling, prayer, whatever tools that work for you, and they're going to kind of change as you change, right? You've got to have a practice in the morning. That's your golden time, and a practice in the evening. That's your silver time. And we talk about that in a lot of our programs. So assess for yourself, honestly, how dedicated have you been lately to your golden time and your silver time. So maybe that might be something to
and things can switch back and forth too. I mean, it's never static, and part of the tradition and the ritual is knowing in the moment what fills your spring,
exactly,
what fills your soul.
Exactly. I'm very kind of, I don't like the word eclectic, but I'm kind of like, I like a variety. I don't like to eat the same thing every day or listen to the same music every day, right? I like to have variety. And so I also enjoy variety with my spiritual practice. There are people who do the one type of meditation or the one thing, like they always do EFT, or they always do, Reiki, or they always do whatever it is. And that's fine. If that works for you, it's going to keep working for you until the arc. And then you're like, oh, wait, that's not working as well for me anymore. Why is that? Right? Or you might be more varied like me, where you're like, oh, today I feel like I'm going to hug a tree, so I'm going to go hug a tree, Oh, right now I feel like I need to do some Tai Chi, and right now I'm going to put on some Madonna and I'm just going to dance my ass off.
How about some Tai Chi?
Tai Chi, Mark says. Ba-dum-bum. We still have a sense of humor. That's a good sign, right? So yeah, and then point 7, and so time with self and spirit. Silver, golden, and silver. Oh, somebody else to come in. Yay, we have some late arrivals into the party here. Point number 7 is pleasure, happiness, and joy. And if you're in wisdom school, you have a printout for that. And I'll give you the short version. I love how Archangel Michael describes it. Pleasure is of the body. This is the short key. Pleasure is of the body, happiness is of the heart, and joy is of the spirit. So your pleasure quotient is going to vary from moment to moment. If somebody is sick or they have a sprained blah, 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 whatever it is, their pleasure level is going to be lower, right? My pleasure level in terms of like sex right now is not as high as like it will be if and when I'm with my divine right partner, who's the next, partner for the next chapter of my life. But I can still pleasure myself while I treasure myself. Bada boom, bada bing. So I can still have some fun, right? But you can do certain things to enhance your pleasure. I have my essential oils right here at my desk. So I'll stop in the middle of the workday, like, okay, I need to move. How about some oils? How about a cup of tea? By the way, it's time for more tea sipping, isn't it? I love this Ticino tea. It is amazing. Thank you, Judy, for turning me on to the Ticino. I first had the Ticino, Teeccino. Is that right? I think so. At Judith's house, and I was like, oh my god, I'm having the same one, the caramel right now. So good. I'm a tea lover. I'm a chocolate lover. I'm enjoying some red wine lately. And you know what? You have to choose for yourself what gives you pleasure. I'm a huge fan of hot salt baths, hot baths with Reiki imbued. Increase your pleasure level, okay? Do what gives you pleasure. Your body wants more of this and less of that. So now is a really good time. Every day is a good time, but especially now in a time of change and chaos. It's very important to increase your pleasure level, and you have complete control over that. You do that. You can do that. You don't even need other people, although you might want to get a massage if you have that option or whatever that might be, right? So pleasure, happiness is the one that goes up and down because it's responds to our relationships with others and how others view us. So when we feel successful with our relationships, when we feel successful with our purpose, and like we're making a difference and other people are appreciating us, when we feel seen and heard and valued and treasured, our happiness level goes up. Okay? Joy is accessible to you no matter what. Joy is who you are. Joy is your birthright. Joy is your spiritual essence. It has nothing to do with what's going on with your body or your bank account or your relationships or your business. You have access to joy all the time. And that's why I feel joyful, even though I just got divorced yesterday. Right? Mostly I feel joyful, mostly. I also have the other feelings too because of the happiness level, right? So it's like, you can have all these different aspects of yourself at once. You can have spiritually feel joyful, happiness level can feel happy or sad or both at the same time, like me right now, or anywhere in the middle, or numb even. Sometimes we're not even in touch so much with our emotions. We're kind of like, I don't know, and then you have your pleasure. How does your body feel? So make a note for yourself: pleasure, happiness, joy. Where do you need to put some focus to enhance those, and what will help you do that? What are the things that are within your control? What supports do you need? How can you enhance your pleasure, happiness, and joy? And I take really, really good care of myself with all of those as much as I can, which is why I'm getting through this as well as I am. Number 8 point I made, I'm just sticking it here in the list, which is a relationship is not a failure just because it wasn't forever. So you get to define success. You get to define your own success. Don't let anyone else define that for you. Okay. And number 9, twin flames. If you guys want, we can talk more about twin flames and soulmates. I know that that's kind of a hot topic, and it's also an often misunderstood topic. And I feel that twin flame is not always incarnated, but if they are, or if they aren't, you're connected with your twin flame. So that's always the case. You may or may not be in a romantic relationship with them, or you may or may not know them in this incarnation or be alive at the same time, but you still have a connection. And then number 10, which is really important, is Shakespeare, to thine own self be true, right? To thine own self be true. So whatever's going on out here, if you apply some of these 10 key points to growing and flowing with grace and gratitude, I truly know and I truly believe that it will help you. And you might want to watch the replay of this too. I should probably turn that into a blog article, shouldn't I? Yeah. Some kind of an article, or maybe a series of articles. So yes. Oh, thank you. Aisha is typing yay, thank you. And when we are seen, heard, and understood, our happiness goes up. Exactly. So where are you guys at right now? What stood out for you the most about what we just shared? It's almost an hour. Oh, it's exactly an hour we've been here. It's okay. I'm not in a rush. We can have another 5, 10, 15 minutes, anything like that. Oh, there are the 10. Yay. Surrender. Awesome. You guys are so beautiful. This list is called the 10 points for life changes, growing and flowing with grace and gratitude. There we are. How do we have access to joy all the time if prayer, etc., doesn't bring it forth? What might? So that is such a great question, Judith, and I'm so glad that you asked that. And I believe that that's going to change for us over time. Like, what helped you feel the joy? Because the joy is accessible. It's just you might not always feel it. Something might be kind of blocking you from feeling it, right? So it's going to vary from person to person, time to time, but I can tell you some things that help me and that I've noticed have helped some of my students and clients and loved ones and so forth. And one of the keys that I feel helps us feel the joy is nature, right? And I know, Judith, you love the ocean. Like me, you're a water girl. So who else is a water person? Yay. And I'm planning to move back to the Bay Area and live closer to the ocean. And I get to see Eliza more often. Yay. And it's my other Bay Area lovies. So if the ocean is what lights you up and makes you feel, oh, yes, then spend more time there. Maybe it's the river. Maybe it's the desert. Maybe it's the forest and the trees. But I guarantee you there's some type of natural environment, or more than one, that helps you feel the joy. And it's not just a happiness, because it has nothing to do with anybody else, right? It doesn't matter if you just had an argument with your boss, or you just read an annoying email from so-and-so. It doesn't matter. You go to this place and you instantly feel better. It raises your vibration instantly, right, Joy? You totally get it. I know you do, right? So it's like, oh, okay. And I call it unplugging to recharge. So you literally being in nature will just like do that for most of us most of the time. Another one that I feel is really helpful for most people most of the time is something with movement. So when we move the body, because the body is connected to the nervous system and the chakras, and our hara line, it actually helps to free up the blocked energy so that we can feel the joy that's accessible, that's already here, trying to stream into us and glow and flow through us. So when we move, all of a sudden we feel better. And that's why for so many of us, yoga or Tai Chi or walking, or Qigong, Native American Dance of Life, angelic heart bridges that Archangel Michael gifted to me, and I get to share with some of you, or dancing. Who loves to dance? Right? Yes, and you can chair dance. You can chair dance. You can car dance. You can, just move it and groove it. Diana, I love your moving. That's so cool. Look at you. Yay, Surrender's got it. Yeah. Oh, what are you singing, Eliza? You got to tell me what you're singing. Anything. You can unmute yourself if you want. So totally, and I actually set up a reminder on my phone while going through this conscious uncoupling. I've done this in such a reflective way, like, okay, whoa, what do I need more of here? How am I going to get through this? I'm going through grief. What do I need to do to get through this? I set up a reminder on my phone, our trusty little, I call it an EVDEV. I think they shouldn't be called phones. They should be called EVDEVs, which stands for everything device. It's your EVDEV. Let's make that go viral, right? It's an EVDEV. So on my little EVDEV, I set up a 5 p.m. reminder, and it says dance with like a million exclamation marks. So every day I have to at least look at that, right? And maybe I get up and I dance, or maybe I get up and I dance an hour later, or maybe I don't. But at least I have the reminder right there that's going, get your butt out of your seat, Sage, move your booty. Right? And usually I do actually within a half an hour, I do actually like put a song on, or I'll go outside and at least do some kind of moving meditation or something. But when you combine movement with music, dance, it's so magical, right? It's just so incredible. So those are a couple of really easy ideas. Judith, I hope that's helpful. And sometimes the answers are simple, it's just a matter of doing them, and actually like making them, okay, this is what I do every day. I get some nature time. Every day I do some kind of dance or movement, and then we just notice it's like this positive spiral, a different spiral, the positive spiral of positive energy that we just start to feel incrementally a little better, It's like Abraham Hicks when they talk about the different levels of happiness. They have this like 16-point or 18-point scale. You don't go from way down here, like totally depressed or despairing. You don't go from there to like ecstatic bliss like this, right? It's not one step. It's like, okay, now maybe you feel this, and now you feel this, and then you feel, and you go up and down a bit. It's not a straight line either, and that's okay. But it's a process and it's a journey, and we can help ourselves feel better, and we can help others feel better, no matter what's going on up there. And that's why I'm here with you today. So that was a great question. Thank you for asking that. I hope that was helpful. Yay. All right. And does anyone else have a specific question? Or I'd love to hear what's resonating for you. Eliza says, what is blocking my experience of joy? Okay, so let's see if we can tune in for you. So we had 2 solutions, and let's see if there was anything else that you need to know.
I also put in the chat to create a ritual with lots of movement, like you said, to have a lot of movement. That is always good for me. And I've been sharing my gratitude list with my neighbor, so I hear what she's grateful for, and she tells me what I'm grateful for. I don't know what I tell her. So it's good to reach out to some other person and find out and uplift each other.
It really, really does help. It really helps. And it helps both in that sort of buddying up kind of way, like you're doing. And it also helps with like small communities. I feel like we need all of this. We need like one-on-one, and we need little small cozy groups, that are like familiar and have more intimacy. But also have the group energy. And then we also need like larger groups where maybe it's not as intimate, but there's more energy from just numbers, and collective intention. So And any of you guys who are not connected with me on Facebook, if you're not a Facebook person at all, that's okay. I love you anyway. And that's fine. It's totally fine. But if you are, come connect with us on all of the free Facebook groups. I'll put them in the chat. We've got 3 free Facebook groups. One of them is called Be a Prosperous Goddess. You can also search by the names. Be a Prosperous Goddess. One is called Archangel Michael's Tribe of Light, and that's for all angel lovers. And the other one is called Reiki, Mystic Light. And it's got a long ass name, like Mystic Light, Reiki and Money Reiki, Energy Healing, blah, blah, blah. Something like that. So I will put them in the chat. You can come and just click join, and those are free, and that's an online community. It's nice to have in person, connection too. But nowadays with COVID, with shelter in place, we're having to do more, even with our nearest and dearest ones that we would normally see in person. We're going to do more of the Zoom calls, and we're going to do more of just regular old-fashioned phone calls help too. And Eliza, you're one of my favorite people in the world for sending old-fashioned letters. Like hardly anyone sends things in the mail, and you're like one of the only people that still sends me letters in the mail. I'm like, oh, I got something that's not junk or bills. Oh my God. So, right. So what can you do to enhance that? That'll enhance the happiness with that human connection. As far as your joy, and we tend to use those words interchangeably, but this is a new philosophy of looking at them a little bit differently, of different flavor. The joy, it's usually like a spiritual block or kind of a stuck energy. And so, yeah, usually the solutions are prayer, meditation, ceremony, movement, journaling can help with that too, because you can do your, what I call intuitive journaling, where you're journaling not just the dumping crap onto the page to vent kind of thing, which sometimes is helpful and sometimes it's not, and it's just a story to be stuck in. But intuitive journaling, where you're doing your journaling, is a spiritual practice, right? And you're journaling like with your highest self, or you're journaling with God, or you're journaling with the Divine Mother, or you're journaling with your body, or you're journaling with Archangel Raphael, or something like that. So some kind of divine aspect of yourself or the universe, and you can have a conversation like back and forth. So that can be really helpful. So that could be a home love assignment for you, where you can journal with your highest self, like, hey, highest self, or dear God, if you want to do it that way, either way. How can I enhance my joy level? You can also do it as a soul question, where you just periodically throughout the day, or you make a little card, a post-it note. I'm old-fashioned. I actually do like 1 million post-it notes. Like this is on my computer right now. This one's sitting there this week. I am a soul awakener, divine light activator, messenger of love. Woo! Right? So you can put a post-it note. That's how can I allow more joy? So let's take a moment to just all tune into that right now, because your answer might be different than someone else's, or your answer will be different from moment to moment. And I think that's a good place to complete for today. So let's tune in for all of us and ask ourselves. We're asking God, we're asking our highest source, and you're going to trust what you get and what comes to you right now. And you can continue this ongoing conversation with God and your source and your highest self. How can I allow more joy? So when you've got an answer, it could be a word, it could be a color or a feeling, it could be a phrase, it could be like an image of you doing some practice or being in a certain place or connecting with a certain person. You can go ahead and type that if you'd like to share it. We do inspire each other. So sometimes it's really nice to share. If it feels private, though, you don't have to share. And I will type what I got was 3 words. And it really helps to not overthink it, right? Or try to interpret it right away. Just get what you get, write it down, type it, and then you interpret, then you can apply. So I'll share mine, but these are mine for me. They're not necessarily for you, but they could be. And Judith got playful, dance, and sing. Linda says, my highest self has a sense of humor and says, open the door. Go ahead and open the door, Linda. Boom, there it is. The door's open, right? The door's as open as you allow it to be and as you recognize it to be. Eliza says, you are joy all the time. Ask to experience more joy. Look how beautiful. All these answers that we're getting are all so beautiful. Excellent. Journal with your highest self. Wave to the people you see every day. Oh, coloring. I know, I love the coloring. That I love. It's just, it's so peaceful. Debbie sends cards to her girlfriends. Oh my God, that's so cool. That's awesome. So Debbie, take a few moments. I feel like you might be a little dehydrated, sweetie. Have something to drink and just let the energy settle. Inspire, be the source. Ooh, that's beautiful. Be the source. I love that. Surrender, are you a spiritual teacher? Because it feels like you could be. Maybe you're being called to do that. And I got laughter, writing, and authenticity. And when I asked what do they mean, what do my guides mean by authenticity, they were like, show up like this, like I'm doing with you guys today. I haven't really done a call like this for a while, you know, just like show up and be. So I did it a couple of years ago on one of my Facebook groups. They were called Spiritual Salons with Sage, and they were really fun. And I did them for like 6 months, and then I just kind of wandered off. And I'm like, oh, maybe we need to do, you know, spiritual salons again, or like tea time with Sage, you know, and we just kind of show up and go with the flow. It's like totally spiritual improv for enhanced living, spiritual improv for enhanced living. That's kind of fun, right? Being in nature. Oh, Debbie, I think you're a little dehydrated and you just need to, that's just an intuitive hit I'm getting, could be right or wrong. But I'm feeling like just have a little drink and let yourself sit. When we complete, just kind of sit for a few minutes and you'll be fine. Yeah, so we're going to complete. And anyone who wants to just converse with me, we might get on a free call together, like a clarity session, or I might just email you or message you some suggestions. Feel free to reach out to me. I'm here for you guys. It's tinyurl.com/sageclarity. Or here's my email. You can personally email me, sage@prosperousgoddess.com. That's my new email. If you have my old email, it still works, so don't worry. But that's my newer one. And Linda says the guidance was spot on. Best I've experienced in years. Oh, thank you. Oh, what a joy. What a joy. What a joy. So we know that we've got this, okay? We have got this. We have the power within us. And we have the power around us, and it is the power of love. So thank you for being here with me today. It was a joy to be here with all of you. Let's give each other a big hug. Zoom hugs are fun. Woo! Oh, what a blessing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I celebrate you. Namaste. Many blessings. You guys have a great rest of your week. Please stay in touch. Send me a message, send me an email. Let's stay connected. And before you hop off, let me put the Facebook groups in there for you. And I'll see you very soon. I'll see you over in the groups. I'll see you wherever I see you. And I'll see you on the spirit plane too. So thanks for being part of my circle. And I hope you enjoyed this. And I hope it touched you and uplifted you. And I'd love to hear what stood out for you and what you'd like more of, how I can support you even better, if there is such a thing. We do have the power within us. Yay! Desiree says, thank you so much for your sharing. And Gail will catch the rest by the replay. We know it's very early for you in Australia. Thank you for waking up at like 4 a.m. or something to even be with us at all. That's awesome. Thank you, you guys. And I love you all very much. And I'm going to just put those links for you so it's easy for you. You don't have to hunt if you want to join any of the Facebook groups that you haven't already. And then we will be complete. So here comes the Tribe of Light. And that one is the Angel Lovers free group. Boom. And you can join that. And so I'm going to grab the other ones. There we go. Such a joy to be here with all of you guys. Be a prosperous goddess. Let's see. There we go. I lost my window for a second. Too many windows open. Does anyone else suffer from too many windows open syndrome? On your computer? I'm probably not the only one. I'm very grateful to that because I already had an online business before COVID and shelter in place even happened. And I know for some of you that might be something that you're looking at doing, you know, or expanding, and I'm happy to help you with that. And I'm just so grateful to get to connect with you all over the world. That's so awesome. So there's the third one, which has the long name. So feel free to join that. And I will send the replay to you. There will be a replay. It will be on my YouTube channel. And there's actually quite a lot of videos there. You could binge watch if you like. There's tons of free videos on my YouTube channel. So I will email that to all of you guys, and I'll see you again very soon. Pick someone in your gallery, send them love and joy. Oh, baby Suzanne is home. Yay. Oh, that's so good. Joy, thank you for updating us. And Surrender says, thank you, Sage. Lots of love and light and hugs. Thank you. Thank you. I feel very uplifted, and it's great to be with you. YouTube channel is called Sage the Prosperous Goddess, or something like that. Let me see if I can find that for you. I'll put that there for you. Sage Taylor Kingsley, the Prosperous Goddess. Sage Taylor Kingsley, the Prosperous Goddess is what it's called. So if you search that on YouTube, you'll find me. There's probably like 40 or 50 free videos there. Some of them are channeling, some of them are prayers, some of them are healing, some of them are Reiki beatings, some of them are songs. There might be one or two that are poems. So it's quite a lot of different inspirational experiences. So thanks for asking. All right, guys. So enjoy the rest of your day. Lots of love. I'll give you a minute. I'll leave that open for a little while. And I know that things are going to keep getting better and better. And I'm grateful for all of you. Mwah. Thanks for coming to Newt, Surinder, Debbie, Joy, Jan, Christina, Eliza, Aisha, Rick, Christine, Linda, Desiree, Anne. I'm so glad you're here. Clint, Cole, Dawn, Joanne, Janet, Lisa, and everybody else. Thanks for being here, you guys. And I'll probably do another one of these pretty soon. Let me know if you would like that. Great to be with you. All right, so bye for now. See you again soon. We'll see you over on the Facebook groups. Yes, please. Oh, good. Maybe this should be like a monthly thing, huh? That'd be kind of fun. Spiritual salons with Sage. This is good. This is good. It's percolating. It's being birthed right here. So, mwah. Bye, guys. See you soon. Stay in touch by the email. Remember to open my emails. I know your email box is exploding, but please open my emails because that's where I'll be reaching out to you. All right. Talk to you soon. Peace and love. Mwah. Bye. Thank you.